What's going on, guys? It's Ben here from Parker Baits and welcome back to another video. Now this particular video isn't a fishing video, but you join me at Surbiton Bait and Tackle, 5-10 minutes away from Chesington, and this is obviously a Parker Baits stockist. So we're going to go inside and show you exactly what this shop has to offer. Here we are. Now you join me in this beautiful tackle shop, and if I'm honest, it's a little bit of heaven because you've literally got everything you could possibly imagine when it comes to fishing. Not just carp fishing, fishing. And like I said, I'm going to try and touch on that throughout this video and show you exactly what they've got. And they truly have got a little bit of everything in this particular tackle shop. Now we're going to kick it off with some artificials as well. So you've got things in here like artificial sweet corn, hemp, tiger nuts, peanuts, maggots, something I use a lot in my own angling. They've got a big selection here of gardener and also atomic tackle as well. And even some imitation there, tiger nuts from ESP as well. So moving down from that, you've got a nice little fox section. When I say little, but you've got absolutely everything you need when it comes to fox. Now, something that jumps out for me is obviously the wide gape hooks. And if you was watching the channel recently, I've been over at Euro Aqua. And again, I'll put some videos up on the screen now, and I had a couple of 60s. And these particular fish I was nailing on the size 4 wide gapes from Fox. Probably for the last sort of 17 years, even since a kid, I've just always used that curved shank and had a similar setup. Like I said, recently I've turned onto this and that hook hold has been 1,000 times better. And they've got the full natural range. I actually use the 35-pound natural braid as well for shock leaders. I think it's fantastic. They got spoms, pretty much everything. Also some surface setup as well. Again, on the channel a lot, I use a lot of surface gear. I've been fishing a lot on the surface over them warmer months, and obviously their leads as well. Now moving on to the Korda section. 3 products from Korda that I use in my own angling. Now here it is. You've got the quick mount. Now this is something I use with my PVA bags. I've never used another company, to be honest with you, with this stuff. It seems to work and seems to last me forever as well, because there's actually 20 meters of PVA tape on that one. So that's the first one. Moving on from that is the dark matter. Now this is super heavy. This is tungsten braid and it's absolutely fantastic. Again, something I use in my own angling, whether that be normal setups with a hair, braid setup, or within a bag as well. I've used them in both for different scenarios. Moving on from that is the kickers. Now the kickers, I like to chop them down in my own angling, but I use these on the Gemini booms. Again, we're very, very, very close to Gemini, and something they stock on their online store are Parker Baits. But you've got here, these bad boys, you can pull them down on the booms, cut it down and just pull it down. One of these, and I particularly like the bloodworm ones. They're very, very, very similar to almost a red maggot. So if you're fishing a Ronnie rig with maggot in over the winter period or whenever in the year, I seem to, well they do, they definitely give me an edge. But these cut down, game changer, kickers, and obviously one last thing as well, I like to have them in large. I find with the medium ones, when you pull them down, particularly on the Gemini boom sections, it splits and it breaks. With the large you don't get that, so definitely a food for thought if you're using Gemini tackle. Now ESP, here they are, and again a company dearly close to my heart, and the reason for that is I love their PVA bags. Now this is something I use on a weekly basis. I think they're a very strong bag, and I like to double bag these. Take that however you want to take that, but I do like to double bag them, putting it in, and you can really pack them down and then lick the ends and pull them in. And again, you're probably seeing this on the screen, you can be very, very aggressive with these PVA bags and they just don't split. They're not quite as springy as, say, like a Korda bag. The Korda bags, I would say, you can really pull. But these are quite hard, if that makes sense. But if anybody has used these, you'll know exactly where I'm coming from. So they are one of my favourite products from ESP, and this is the ESP standard. So moving on from ESP, you join me at the Drenning section. Now there is quite a big section here. So this is for obviously your coarse angler, your match angler. They have got you covered. Now, literally everything's just that little bit more refined. When you look at the hooks, I look at them now and think, wow, they're really, really small. A little bit out of my depth in this particular section because I don't have much knowledge in it, and I'll be the first person to admit that. But like I said, they really have got all bases covered, whether that be feeders, floats, little hooks, pole elastic, very small catapults. Again, saying I'm not quite used to it. Maybe get one boilie out in that bad boy, but again, intimate fishing, few maggots, over a float, lovely jubbly. Like I said, they really have got you covered. So you join me with Luke. Now this is a big one for me. Now first of all, mate, I want to shake your hand because the thing is, from my perspective, he's given me a chance as a family We are now, obviously, like I said, and we're going to go over that in a second, we are now stockists of Surbiton Bait and Tackle, which is a massive privilege from my family's perspective. So from the bottom of my heart, mate, thanks very much for giving us an opportunity. And obviously the bait is doing very well in here as well, which is great. First impressions, mate, when I've come in today, what a beautiful shop you got, if I'm honest with you. And the other thing that I would say is that something that standed out for me from your perspective. You seem to be very knowledgeable and a little bit of everything around the shop. So there's been 4 or 5 customers come in and you've been speaking to them about different bits. We had a barbel angler in a second. Do you mind touching on that, how you feel about when customers come in? And obviously you mentioned to me prior to this about younger generation as well. You're all for the younger generation?
Yeah, I think it's all about the younger generation, getting the young ones in, getting them fishing, showing them how to start off. Yeah. So then they can build up as future customers through the shop. Yeah. And just knowing a bit of everything really in it. From your coarse fishing to carp fishing, perch fishing.
For sure. So if a little nipper was to come in for, say, scenario with their parents, they could come in. You're quite happy to go over whatever they're doing. So if they're looking
from the basics,
which is a massive one for me because there's a lot of tackle shops that really don't care about going over things.
Yeah, get them started off fishing on a whip and stuff like that.
You said on a Sunday you bring your own kids down.
Yeah, my little one's coming on a Sunday. Alternate every week which one's coming in on a Sunday.
Love that. So, proper family vibe.
Yeah, getting the kids involved in everything. So.
One thing for me, which is not all tackle shops do, but you sell a hell of a lot of naturals.
Maggots.
So maggots, casters.
Yeah, worms.
So, worms as well. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So talk to me on that, mate, because you baffled me earlier. Because you turned around and you goes, Ben, we had 4 deliveries last week of just maggot.
Yeah,
so you're obviously selling quite a lot of it.
Try to get fresh maggot in every week. Like, probably say minimum three deliveries a week, depending on how things are going. Casters as well, fresh every week, 2-3 times a week. Yeah. Try to hold quite a bit of bait. Yeah. Not many people hold it around here, so we try to hold quite a lot. We've got a big walk-in fridge that we can keep quite a few gallons in there.
And again, you'll probably be seeing that on the screen now, guys, a little bit of everything. And your casters look absolutely beautiful, mate.
Fresh casters.
Fresh casters.
Every week.
And I heard the man himself comes in, Mr. Terrier, and pops in every now and again and gets his casters and gets him from this particular tackle shop. So I think it'd be quite interesting, especially for the viewers, Luke, how long the shop's been here, a little bit of history behind it, because it's in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? But to a degree, I mean, you wouldn't have thought it was here. I mean, there's a Costa Coffee next door, and then bang, you've got this beautiful tackle shop. So
yeah, the shop's been here for, I'd say, about 19 years in this area.
Oh, wow.
Surbiton Angling's been going probably for about, I'd say, over 35 years.
Wow.
I've been working here for on and off for probably 15, 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, started off as a kid working as a maggot boy.
Is that right?
And just worked my way
So that's
up.
where the loves come from.
Yep.
Yeah, love.
Yeah, the love of maggots.
And I'm going to love. He's got me. So I think that sort of stems off the back of your knowledge as well, because obviously you've been fishing and doing a bit of everything for a long time. So is that where your knowledge has come from?
Yeah, all from the shop, from people in the shop taking me out fishing as well from when I was a youngster and just learning.
So you've done it as a little boy as well, same as myself.
My way up.
Love
so
that.
Yeah, just learning all the way, listening to people as well, watching things, watching people.
Yeah. I think that's 100% agree with you. I'm the same. I think if you're an angler that turns around and says you know everything, you're very naive. I mean, I go out, I fish every week now, but I far from know everything. I'm still learning, and whether that's from a 10-year-old or they tie something in a certain way, and you think, you clever, how did you do that? And I nick little bits and refine my own angling. Totally agree with you there.
Yeah, every day you're learning something new.
For sure. Yeah, exciting times, but Luke, thanks very much for having us down, mate.
Welcome,
like I said, I'll shake your hand again, and hopefully you enjoy this video, guys, when we touch on a little bit more. Right, wow, here we are. Now I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm at the Parker Bait stand. The main reason why we come to Surbiton Bait and Tackle. Now here it is, the freshest bait in the game is in town. Now what we're trying to do is, as a family, we're trying to keep everything consistent throughout the shops up and down the country. Surbiton Bait and Tackle have looked after us for a long time. This isn't a new stockist, but like I said, I want all of our stockists to look the same in the visual aspect in every single shop up and down the country, like I just mentioned. So we kick it off with our very generic Parker Baits logo, and something I'm dearly proud of as a family, as brothers. And obviously the bump strips, if you like, again, Parker Baits with our sort of iconic logo in the middle, linear. Yeah, really makes me smile. So let's get it. Going to kick it off with our liquid foods. Now here at Surbiton Bait and Tackle, we offer a pure liquid food. Now these are being sent down on a weekly basis alongside our fresh bait, which again I'll touch on in a second. It's a pure liquid food, no bulkers, no BS. It does what it says on the bottle. This stuff is absolutely perfect for zig fishing as well. So if you're applying it to your particle, whatever you're doing, it causes that cloud in the water, which is absolutely brilliant for just getting them going, not overfeeding them, but causing that cloud. Particular places like linear fishery, again, anybody who watches the channel know I'm there a hell of a lot, and that is something that myself, Rob, T, some of the ambassadors up and down the country love to do with this particular product. Now moving on, our new Parker Baits buckets. Now look at them, aren't they carpy? So we've had a full design done, featuring obviously some carp on there, but also a couple of our products. Now if you look really closely, you've got a little magic bean on there with some medusas on top, something how I like to fish myself. We had to buy thousands of these, but now these are in our stockists and also available at Parker Bait store, but obviously here at Surbiton Bait and Tackle. You can put your goodies in there, you can prep your bait, and quite frankly, it looks quite cool on the bank. Moving on from that, our famous flat spot. So there it is. This is a unique blend of 5 different oils. We offer this in fruity and also monster crab. Monster crab though, on that note, it's definitely not wife friendly. It absolutely bloody stinks, if I'm honest with you, with that sort of famous monster crab smell. Now here at Parker Baits, we're not trying to recreate the wheel. I would like to say we're using ingredients that have been around for decades, and I'm sure will be around for decades to come, but balanced levels within. So whether that be our flat spot, our sauce, our boilies, our pellets, so on, so on, so on. Again, we're not trying to recreate the wheel. Now moving on from that is our famous magic dust. Now magic dust, when we first dropped it as a family, people go, magic dust is a bit of a gimmick, until they used it and they kept coming back for more. 27 different food particles, very stimulating to carp. 17 different spices and blood plasmas, CPSP90, LT94s, very stimulating products to carp. Not only carp, but river species as well. Any species, to be honest, when it comes to their coarse sort of side. Moving on from that is our OG fruit and nut magic dust, which consists of 25 different food particles, touching on a few: peanut proteins, Himalayan rock salt, tiger nut meal, not tiger nut flour, tiger nut meal. You've got that crunch factor within, and that's just me touching the surface on these 2 products. Now the gentleman in the shop earlier come over and he said to me, but isn't it the same stuff you put on your boilies? And the answer is definitely not. On our boilies, we use a 20% version of our magic dust because it's not feasible as a brand to put this on because it's such an expensive product due to the ingredients within in our magic dust. So no, anybody who has been thinking or may be unsure when it comes to Parker Baits products, if you're fishing our boilies, it's very different to our magic dust. So if you do want to put this on your boilie, it is enhancing them even more so. So moving on just down from that, we've got a selection of hook baits. I'm not going to touch on them all, but you've got the favourites in there, the mini magic beans, the natural magic beans, 2 of my dear favourites, and something that's been doing me bites at the moment as well. I had a lovely comment before I went away on holiday. I've just come back, and mini magic bean, the little sandy, had this lovely comment, like pearl, pinky, whitey pecks on it, like the size of a dinner plate. It's a beautiful thing. And I'll put that up on the screen now, and that was on a little sand mini magic bean. Moving down from that, they've obviously got our floaters. Now you're definitely, if anybody's a fond viewer or watches and tunes in every week at the Parker Baits YouTube channel at 7:30 on a Sunday, you would have seen a lot of my surface stuff I've done this year, and I've done a good few fish, not I think over 40 pound, but a good few, good 30s, late 30s, and that's been on our new monster crab infused. That's right, monster crab infused, so our flat spot infused floaters. Something a little bit different. Now, any of you, I'm sure a lot of people watching this will know if you add an oil-based product to a floater, it's almost going to hum on the area. What I find is when you've got a chop on the surface and you do apply oils to it, i.e. our flat spot, or straight out the bag in this case, our monster crab floaters, you'll find that they will hum and not drift as much. Now naturally there's nothing that's going to stop anything from drifting, but what I'm saying is it's a deterrent. It helps them keep them there that little bit longer. So if you are on a day ticket water and you've got swim, it keeps them in front of you that little bit longer. Again, devastating in their own right. We offer these in 11 and 6s, and they are in store here at Surbiton Bait Tackle. Mini mix pellet. Now this is 5 different pellets, 5 different breakdowns, and obviously 5 different oil content as well. Perfect, absolutely perfect for the PVA bag scenario. I do not use any other pellet when it comes to my PVA bag fishing. This hits every spot, if you like. It's a very small, fine pellet, therefore you can make a nice tight bag whether you're fishing at 30 wraps or 10 wraps. I like to fish a tight bag because you get that explosion on the bottom as it breaks down, especially when you double bag, it pops and explodes, and then that little bean sits just over the top of your mini mix pellet, and it just works wonders. It's done me numerous bites for loads of people up and down the country. If you haven't tried our mini mix pellet and you're a PVA bag fisherman, you need to get on it. You need to try it and give it a go. it'd be rude not to touch on the boilies. Now this is where it gets really spicy, and like I said, not just because there's spice in the OG fish, but we send these down fresh. Now this was actually sent Thursday, this was cooked last week, bagged the tail end of last week and obviously sent. OG fish, OG fruit and nut. I mentioned this a minute ago. We're not trying to recreate the wheel, but what I am trying to do is just make things simple. So when you walk in a tackle shop, quite frankly, it's a minefield, because you walk in, there's all these different bait companies. You know, which one do I pick? With us, it's simple. You've got a fish meal and also a nut-based birdseed product, which is our fruit and nut, and obviously the fish meal, which is the OG fish. We offer these in a selection of different sizes here at Surbiton Bait and Tackle, in the OG fish and the OG fruit and nut. Moving down from that is our 5 kg bags. So we're not the only bait company here at Surbiton Bait and Tackle. They've obviously got Sticky, massive shout out to you, Tom, big respect for the company, and a very, very good bait. Moving on from that, you've also got Dynamite baits as well. There's a mainline section, carp company. Now I want to finish it off with these bad boys. Now this is apparently a local company. First I've seen of it. Now it's called Big Dogs Only. Now this is a fermented particle. He offers a massive selection of particle on site, but that'd be tiger nuts, XL tigers, black tigers, and it's a fermented particle, which is very interesting to be honest. And these tiny little buckets, and definitely going to give you an edge on the bank. Now a little piece of heaven here. I wish I had an open checkbook, but I certainly don't, and I know my brother would kill me. But there's some lovely chairs here. You've got a massive mixed selection of different luggage. Now if you move to the left, it just keeps going. You've got bed chairs in here, rod holdalls, pods, cradles, slings, mats. You name it, they've got it. Well, like Luke mentioned, he started off as the maggot boy and has evolved into what he's got here today. Now if I open this up, they have got their naturals room. So when it comes to maggots, casters, worms, etc, etc, like I said, they've got you covered here. Right, so I close that up, and I think it's the perfect time to head back in, show you the last bit of this particular shop, then we're going to be on our way. So just before we move on, you may have seen or heard the massive Pitbull on site here. Now, I was very intimidated when I walked in this shop, and what I'll do is I'll put that up on the screen now. This absolute massive dog, it's ginormous, like you said, it's on steroids, this thing. And check this out. So here's George the Pitbull. As you can see, very, very, very big. And I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him. Bite your arm off. So moving on from that, we have got more sort of coarse fishing match scenario, if you like, and it's all here. And like I said, they really have got you covered, whatever kind of angling you do. It's got mini feeders, there's leads here, there's the press feeders as well, which I've seen online. Not something I've used personally, but I think it's quite cool. You can put your bait in and obviously push your feeder within that, and it makes the perfect scenario, and obviously a little bit more aerodynamic. And then moving on from that, there's obviously a guru section as well. Literally everything. So we've got leads coming out of leads, and a few more leads as well. So they've got you covered there. But moving on that, just behind the counter is a big old selection now of different reels and setups, even down to a centre pin over the back over. Now that looks absolutely lovely. Catering for everybody's needs, some ESP bank sticks. Now I know I look at them because I've seen a lot of advertisement for them online at the moment. They're a massive product and they're breaking the internet, to be quite frank, because you see them everywhere. Again, they've got them on site here at Surbiton Bait and Tackle. Moving on from that, selection of different bobbins. Bobbins coming out of bobbins, some Korda ones, the stows, and a few others thrown in the mix as well. I've got my little mate next to me, but you join me at the Predator section, very similar to the Pitbull down below me. Pretty aggressive, as you can see. They've literally got all the rubbers you can possibly imagine. Again, take that how you want to take that. Different lures, and more lures and spinners, and more lures and spinners. Again, feel a little bit out of my depth, I'm not going to lie. And I know Rob Bolger will be watching this, because I know Rob Bolger is a very keen predator angler, and it's definitely worth a PM or DM if you've got any intimate questions about predator fishing. Definitely give Rob Bolger a message, because he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to predator fishing. Now, just before we do wrap this up, now it's not something I've actually seen in a tackle shop before, but I do think now this is a massive edge. Now, like I mentioned, Luke will go over any questions you've got in the shop, but as you can see, you've got a little selection here of our mini magic beans, our naturals, and obviously our pineapple pop-ups as well. And he's got a few rigs set up in the tank there, which is perfect, because you can understand the mechanics of the rigs that little bit better and understand how maybe the buoyancy works, how the rig works, and how it looks and sits on the bottom of the lake bed. Right, wow, I think this is a perfect way to end this video. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time down here alongside Brad, and it was a pleasure to meet the owner, Luke. Now, like I said, they've got you all covered here. whatever your fishing needs are. So pop into the shop if you are local, and obviously you are in the shop. Grab yourself some of the freshest bait in the game and support a family-run business. Come in, get yourself some flat spot, get yourself some magic dust, and give yourself an edge whilst fishing. So, without further ado, I hope you like this video, guys. If you have, give us a thumbs up, make sure you comment down below, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos going forward. And I'll see you all very soon. Peace out.